What if I told you that all Pixar movies are connected? That all the characters in those movies actually live in the same universe, only in different times? How is that possible? Keep watching and you'll find out. Our story starts with the movie Brave, back in the old days of Scotland. In the movie, Merida discovers some kind of magic which accidentally transforms her mother into a bear. That mysterious magic power comes from a witch in the forest.
Get out!
This will be the first time we see animals act like humans. But who is that witch in the forest? We see her disappearing through doors and we know she has magical powers, but who is she really? Well, actually, she played a big role in one other film on our list, but we'll get to that later. During the centuries that followed Brave, the animals and objects who were experimented on by the witch have slowly evolved, creating a power struggle between humans, animals, and machines. The conflict between humans and animals is depicted across Ratatouille, Finding Nemo, and Up. In Ratatouille, the animals are starting to experiment with their growing intelligence in small environments. In the movie, Remy tries to invade a human-only territory, cooking. He then befriends a group of humans but makes one enemy, Chef Skinner. What happened to Skinner after discovering the intelligent mice that outperformed human beings? It's possible that the word of that discovery has reached the ears of Charles Muntz, the villain in Up, which then led him to develop technology that could harness the thoughts of animals. After Muntz's demise, the dogs are freed, but we don't really know what happened to them. But one thing's for sure, now that people know the potential of animals, they start crossing the line, and the hatred between the two grows. Thus begins the Industrial Revolution hinted at in Up. In the beginning of Up, Carl is forced to sell his house to a corporation in charge of expanding the city. Think about it, what corporation is responsible for pollution and technology overreach? By and large, is the massive corporation that runs pretty much everything in WALL-E. In the history of B&L, an ad in the movie, we're told that B&L has even taken over world governments.
With over 2 million wholly owned subsidiaries, governmental bodies, and healthcare centers, by and large has become the world leader in every conceivable field, including world leadership.
In Finding Nemo, we're told a story about saving a fish from the bad human beings. An entire population of sea creatures is harnessed for that cause. Humans continue to antagonize the increasingly networked and intelligent animals. But this is as far as we go with the animal kingdom for now. Let's back up for a bit. We mentioned before that a struggle arises between humans, animals, and machines. So when did the machine's artificial intelligence start? In The Incredibles, Syndrome tries to kill all of the superheroes due to a grudge between him and Mr. Incredible.
I am your biggest fan.
Buddy?
But it's not actually him who is doing the killing. Syndrome is using the Omnidroid, an AI killing machine that can learn and adapt during combat. Eventually, the robot turns on its creator and tries killing innocent people randomly. Why would an AI robot do that? Do machines have an inherent hatred towards humans? Why? We know that animals hate humans because they're destroying the environment and experimenting on them, but what do machines have against them? In Toy Story, humans use and discard toys that clearly have feelings. At first, the toys are happy, but as things progress, they get fed up with people. They rise up against Sid in the first one, Jessie resents her owner for abandoning her in the second one, and in the third one, Lotso, well, he just hates all people.
Something snapped. She replaced us. Come on.
Toys are not happy with the status quo, giving a reason for why machines and objects want to take over. At this point in time, the superheroes are almost extinct and mankind is vulnerable. Despite that, we don't see machines rise up against humans, not in a straightforward way anyway. They're using B&L, a faceless corporation, to dominate the world starting after the Omnidroid defeated most superheroes. In Toy Story, it's made clear that these sentient objects rely on humans for everything. Fulfillment, energy, they need them. So machines decide to control humans instead of taking over them. That way they can use them for their needs. This leads to the Industrial Revolution, which eventually leads to worldwide pollution. When the animals rise up against humans to stop the pollution, humans will get help from the machines, and we already know who's going to win that war. At a certain point, planet Earth becomes unsuitable for living, for both animals and humans, which forces people to move to space as a last attempt to save the human race.
Plenty of space out in space!
In space, the machines have made humans dependent on them for everything because that's how they were treated as toys. That's all they know. Meanwhile on Earth, machines are the only beings left to populate the planet. They follow human behavior and tradition, as seen in Cars, because that's what they learned from humans. There are no people or animals left on the planet, but their influence is still prominent. Which brings us back to WALL-E. Why is WALL-E the only machine left on Earth? We know that the movie starts hundreds of years after humans have left the planet. It's WALL-E's fascination with human culture and a friendship with a living being, the cockroach, that kept him going. That's what made him special and sent him on a journey to liberate the humans. He remembers the time when humans and machines lived side by side happily. When humans go back to Earth, they bring with them the single last plant that survived. At the credits of the film, we see the plant and it grows to be a huge tree that surprisingly resembles the main tree in Bug's Life. The reason we don't see any humans in Bug's Life is that there's not many of them left. We know that some insects survived after the humans left the planet, so it was easier for them to repopulate again once humans came back. So what's next? Humans, machines, and animals start repopulating the planet in harmony to the point that a new species is born: monsters. The monsters universe is actually Earth in the very far future. Where did monsters come from? Maybe mutations of animals after hundreds of years on a diseased planet. They sure do look like mutated animals. They're smart, they have cities, and even universities. The monsters, however, have an energy crisis because, like the machines, they need humans for their energy. But they're living in the future world where humans are all gone. The doors they use to visit humans for their screams are not doors to parallel dimensions, they're going back in time. They're visiting the time when humans were most prominent and harvesting them for energy. This would have been the end if it wasn't for Boo, the little girl in Monsters, Inc. who slipped into the futuristic world of the monsters and found a friend there. After going back to her world, she kept trying to find a way to see Sully again and became a witch. Yes, Boo is the witch from Brave. She figured out how to travel through time and goes back to what she thinks is the source of it, the will of the wisps, the magic that started this whole thing. She tries using that magic to create a door that will bring her back to Sully. That's why the doors in her hut keep leading to different places. These are doors that she created in the same way the monsters did. They transport through time, and that is why Merida couldn't find the witch later on. So Boo keeps traveling through doors looking for Sully. But does she ever find him? We'd like to believe she does, and their love for each other is what binds all the Pixar movies together. The love of different people from different ages and even different species, finding ways to live together in peace. And that is the Pixar Theory.